models. Now we'll cover the significant service adjustments you'll need to know in order to keep these new subcompacts operating in tip-top shape. Access to service adjustments is made easier with the engine mounted transversely. You can set basic engine timing either using the magnetic probe on the electronic spark advance analyzer or visually using a conventional timing light. On manual transmissions, timing is picked up at the flywheel, which has two slots that are magnetically sensed by the timing probe. The flywheel also has scribed timing marks, which align with the pointer on the flywheel access hole for visual inspection. On automatic transmissions, there are two slots on the torque converter which you can pick up magnetically or inspect visually in relation to the die-cast timing marks on the bell housing. The new Holley 5220 two-staged carburetor comes in two versions, one for models equipped with air conditioning and one for cars without AC. Common to both carburetors are the locations of the curb idle speed screw, idle stop carburetor switch, idle mixture screw, fast idle speed screw, and the throttle position transducer. The differences between the two carburetors are the AC carburetor has an idle speed screw inside the idle stop solenoid, which is adjusted with the AC on and after the enriched idle and curb idle speeds have been set. Another difference is an AC cutoff switch that activates at wide open throttle to momentarily turn off the compressor clutch, giving the engine additional power for better acceleration. You'll also notice that the carburetor without AC has a throttle stop speed screw which prevents the complete closing of the throttle blade in its bore. When setting up the 5220, be sure to follow the adjustment preparations carefully. This goes especially for all idle speed adjustments. Here are a few of the important ones. For propane-assisted idle set, the propane supply goes to the port near the carburetor side of the four-way vacuum nipple. For adjusting curb idle speed, plug the vacuum hose at the EGR valve. On all speed adjustments, ground the idle stop carburetor switch to cancel out computer advance. And make sure the thermostatically controlled cooling fan is running during the adjustments. This ensures a correct electrical load, which is necessary for an accurate setting of engine idle RPM. You can energize the fan using a jumper wire on the thermo switch to complete the circuit. Lean burn system diagnosis can be done using point-to-point checks with conventional equipment as outlined in the service manual. You can also use an ESA analyzer updated with a new circuit and an adapter to handle Omni and Horizon models. The manual transmission has a single oil checkpoint which serves both the transmission and the differential. You'll see two plugs on the transmission case, the fill plug and the drain plug. Remove the fill plug to check the oil level. It should be at the bottom of the hole. You can add oil either here or through the speedometer pinion hole. The gear shift linkage has a fore and aft and a side-to-side adjustment. Side-to-side adjustment is especially critical to proper shifting and gear mesh. Make sure the transmission is in neutral before you adjust the linkage. Loosen the adjustment bolt and move the plastic slider fore and aft so its tab aligns with the hole in the blocker. This positions the gear shift in neutral. For the side-to-side adjustment, insert a half-inch spacer block between the slider and blocker. Torque the adjustment bolt to 20 foot-pounds and the adjustment is set. Adjusting the clutch cable is simple to do and requires no tools. Simply pull up on the clutch cable until the threaded adjuster sleeve is free from the grommet recess. Rotate the adjuster sleeve until it contacts the grommet. Then back off to allow it to seat inside the grommet and the excess free play is eliminated. The automatic transmission uses two sumps because a different fluid level is needed in the transmission than in the differential. A seal is provided to maintain the proper fluid level in both the transmission and the differential. A faulty seal allows most of the transmission fluid to drain into the differential, causing the excess fluid to leak from the vent on the extension housing. The procedure for checking the transmission fluid level is similar to our other torque flights. With the engine at operating temperature, move the selector lever through each detent position. On this transmission, you can check it in either the neutral or in the park position. The dipstick is easy to reach. Be sure to use a clean cloth and add only Dexron-type fluid to both sumps. Checking differential fluid involves removing the fill plug to examine the level. The correct level is even with the fill plug. The selector lever linkage is adjusted with the lever in park. Loosen the adjustment swivel bolt on the shift lever and place the transmission into the park position. Retighten the swivel bolt to complete the adjustment. If a throttle cable adjustment is necessary, follow this simple procedure. With the engine set at correct curb idle, loosen the adjustment screw and move the throttle lever clockwise to its closed position. Hold this position while you tighten the screw and the adjustment is set. The ISO-strut front suspension system is durable and requires no maintenance. Worn shock absorbers cannot be serviced and must be replaced. Start by removing the strut's 2 upper mounting nuts and the 2 lower mounting bolts at the steering knuckle. Then remove the strut from the car. As a safety measure, be sure to use special tool L4514 to compress the coil spring before you loosen and remove the hex nut. When removing the hex nut, use a wrench to hold the shock rod to prevent it from rotating on its bearing. Disassemble the strut and remove and replace the worn shock absorber as outlined in the service manual. Make sure you reset the front alignment after reinstalling the strut. The rear suspension is serviced in a manner similar to the front. You replace worn shock absorbers by removing the strut assembly. Located inside the car is 1 strut mounting nut, and a lower through bolt attaches the strut to the control arm. Strut disassembly and shock absorber replacement is similar to the front strut. Check the service manual for details. Front disc brakes are serviced in the usual manner. Make sure you use Chrysler specified replacement brake lining pads. Loosen the handbrake adjuster nut before you adjust the rear brakes. Rear drum brakes have a simple manual adjustment, where a star wheel rotates to expand the brake shoes against the drum. The star wheel uses a right-hand thread on both brakes, so you'll have to move the adjusting tool downward on the driver's side to tighten and upward on the passenger side to tighten. Then back off 10 clicks on both sides for the correct adjustment. Omni and Horizon doors have welded hinges that can provide a slight tilt adjustment using special tool L4527. Doors can be removed using special tool L4526, which easily removes the hinge pins. Tap with a ball-peen hammer on the hinge pins to reinstall the door to the body hinges. A 2-post striker is used, and it adjusts in the same manner as our single-post one. Front and rear windows use a single-post guidance system, and adjustment details are covered in your reference book. The Omni Horizon air conditioning housing allows you to remove the blower motor from inside the car by removing the recirculation housing, the blower wheel, and the blower motor mounting nuts. Remove the AC housing from the car to service either the evaporator or heater core. Both the evaporator and heater core use foam band insulation and slide in and out on grooves. Incidentally, an anti-dieseling relay is used to activate the compressor clutch from 4 to 8 seconds after the ignition is shut off to prevent engine dieseling. The lightweight, high-efficiency Sankyo compressor is used. Check Master Tech Session 77 November for service information. Next month, we'll complete our Omni Horizon coverage with a close look at servicing the manual transaxle. See you then.